Surprise! Hello, baddies. This is a special spooky episode of Cat's Got Your Terror. Happy Friday the 13th! It's my favorite day, and some people think it's unlucky, and I can't have that. So here's a special episode for my fellow spooky souls. Happy Friday the 13th, and thanks for tuning in. How's it hanging, witches? I'm Kat Pinning, and this is Cat's Got Your Terrors, a show where I tell you and a guest in my Manor of Death something that I find terrifying, so I'm not the only one with nightmares. However, I should say guests, since I have two people joining me in the Manor today, Annie Skovmand and Cara, the lovely ladies of What the Podcast.
I'm so excited! So excited, and just in time for spooky season.
Just in time for spooky season. Well, thanks for letting me repay the favor since I've been a guest on What the Podcast. Not like an actual episode, but I've been a part of I've had the great honor of being a part of the 25-hour.
You're a staple.
Twice.
That's
right. I know. Do you guys remember the stories that I did? Which one was your favorite?
I loved when you did Robert the Doll.
Oh, yeah.
And you brought in our friend Taylor, and it turns out Ryan hates dolls, and Taylor was ready to fight it.
Yeah. And is he living a cursed life?
He is.
Yeah.
I think we all know. All right. Well, let's talk about something terrifying. What do you guys know about doppelgangers? Cara, what do you know about doppelgangers? Can you tell me what a doppelganger is?
Vampire Diaries.
That's everything we know is from Vampire Diaries.
Everything I know about a doppelganger.
Okay, since I'm not familiar with Vampire Diaries, what does Vampire Diaries say?
A doppelganger in Vampire Diaries is that there's somebody in some other point of time that looked exactly like you.
Okay. And then Annie, do you know?
All I know is it's like someone that looks like you, right? So like,
I love that you're playing dumb. You know.
They're your doppelganger.
Right, yeah.
Like How I Met Your Mother, right? They like collect all the doppelgangers. I can't say the word.
There is that episode where they like have to, yeah, okay.
I haven't seen it.
Well, so doppelganger is a German word/phrase that literally means double walker. So I'm going to share a few stories that will not only help you understand what a doppelganger really is, but also what they can mean. So our first story is Maria Arana was a Franciscan abbess. An abbess is the head nun of an abbey of nuns. So like
already sketchy. If it's a nun, they're freaky. Sorry, Cara. I know you grew up with them, but
you're not wrong.
They got scary vibes.
Yeah. She was eventually a prolific author, and she lived and worked in Spain during the first half of the 17th century. And everywhere she went, she wore the blue garments of her order. But in 1620, when she was just 18, Maria claimed that she was having incredibly real-feeling dreams of being in a foreign land far away from Spain. In those dreams, she encountered a tribe of people called the Humano. But Mary considered these to be more than just dreams. She said that angels were literally transporting her to another place. For over 3 years, Maria spoke with the Humano people, telling them of her work in the church and teaching them the best that she could. And then, in 1623, the vision stopped. 6 years later, though, a group of indigenous people from the western region of modern Texas approached the local Spanish authorities there and asked for a missionary to be sent to their village. Out of curiosity, the local priest asked why. The men said that they'd been visited by a beautiful young woman dressed in blue and that she had taught them many things. Those indigenous people, it turns out, were the members of a tribe known as the Humano.
So she was talking to them in her dreams for 3 years?
Yeah, she was talking to these people.
And then 6 years later, the actual people showed up?
In Texas. So, like,
in Texas, but she's from Spain?
Yeah. So basically, like, they approached, because Spain is run by...
Yeah, 1600 modern day Texas would have been conquered by the Spaniards.
Yeah. And they were like, hey, we really liked learning about this. Can we learn more? And the priest is like, how do you already know about this? And they're like, oh, this girl in blue keeps showing up. But then she stopped, so now, like, we want that back.
So how terrifying would it be to just, like, have a woman, a nun, dressed in all blue, just emerge into your village, and then she disappears.
Were they in their dreams? Or
no,
were they actually seeing her?
And she was in Spain.
Yeah, she was in Spain, but she was showing up in what is modern-day Texas. Also,
That's
if you're wondering how a nun got away with claiming to be present at 2 places at once, and it was not seen as an act of witchcraft,
Yeah, what?
she was investigated by the Inquisition, but in the end, they didn't pursue her case. Some historians think it's because it was proven to have resulted in true fruitful missionary work, while others believed it was because she happened to be good friends with the King of Spain.
Oh,
Yeah.
She was oofing the King of Spain.
Yeah. That's,
That's
as we know about nuns, yeah.
yeah.
That's 100%.
And unless it's proven otherwise, that's what I'm going with.
Also, like,
I can't explain how she was in 2 places at once, but I can explain how she didn't get beheaded for it.
also doing this research, they definitely tried to bury this because, like, it's only cited in a few sources. So, like, you can definitely tell that because she went on to be this, like, prolific, like, basically Mother Teresa, I think they very much tried to, like, quiet this story.
They're like, fine, I guess we'll like.
Because they were like,
slide.
by the way, you can talk about anything but that.
Don't talk about this.
But it's
So
so,
did
I think
those-
so interesting.
How
Whatever.
weird. Oh my gosh.
But anyway,
This happens more than once in history?
yes, it
Great.
has. So, doppelganger has long been synonymous with lookalike, so you guys aren't wrong with thinking that. But there's a huge difference between a genetic probability that somebody somewhere looks like you and the belief that a Spanish nun could somehow transport herself around the globe through her dreams. The strangers who look eerily like other strangers aren't doppelganger in the true sense of the word. Doppelgänger, as I said before, is a German word that means double walker, which admittedly isn't very specific, but in historical context, it's a term that's full of magical connotation. The core idea of both words, though, is the sense of seeing the ghost of someone who's still alive, an apparition or a spectral copy of a living human being. So basically, like, the true sense of the word doppelganger is seeing a exact duplicate of that person, but not actually them, more like a spectral or almost like a ghost kind of copy of them. That's what an actual...
Seeing like their spirit in another place, even though they're
Exactly. Yeah. So one common interpretation is that doppelgangers represent our true desires brought to life. Stories tell of individuals seeing the very things they wish would happen, or their spectral doubles participating in activities they long for, like Maria the nun longing to do missionary work. So that kind of like explains like maybe she showed up there, she like wanted so badly to reach
She
other
really
people that
manifested
she
it.
actually, yeah, exactly, she literally manifested it. But the key characteristic of doppelgangers isn't what they are, it's what they mean. Because seeing a doppelganger, the literal act of seeing one with your own eyes, can have powerful consequences.
No.
like in Harry Potter,
Exactly.
right?
Being a doppelganger of yourself can also be viewed as an omen of your own impending death.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And that's what happened to another writer, Percy Bysshe Shelley. Also known as, his middle name is actually Bysshe, I looked that up.
Bish.
Also known as Mad Shelley. Also known as Mad Shelley, for his violent outbursts, morbid curiosities, and dabbling with the occult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, valid.
He was a
valid
little,
nickname.
He was also a famous poet, however, and was a respected novelist and a close friend of Lord Byron. But you would probably know him more as the husband of Mary Shelley, the author of the classic horror novel Frankenstein. So this is Mary Shelley's husband.
Okay.
That already makes sense.
Right.
That couple.
Yeah.
Right? According to his own account, so these are his own words, friends reported seeing him numerous times, only to discover that he was actually elsewhere, verifiably by other witnesses. One friend, Jane Williams, lived near the writer on a dead-end street. One day she looked through her window to see him pass by, headed in the direction of a dead end. But after waiting for a few minutes, he never walked back. She looked outside and checked the street, but couldn't find a sign of him. More significantly, though, he claimed to have seen himself on multiple occasions, which he reported later to his wife. Once he claimed he was walking alone on a terrace when a man approached him from the shadows. When the figure's face came into view, the writer was shocked to see it was his own.
No.
And it spoke.
No.
It asked him, "How long do you mean to be content?" I'm gonna be honest, he's a poet and a writer. I feel like he may have made that part up.
Maybe.
I do believe he's seen himself, especially like if other people are seeing copies of him.
He just walked
But-
in a mirror.
He
To
tried
have
make
it, like,
more
say-
poetic.
Yeah. I mean, however, obviously Maria Arana was talking because she was sharing the gospel or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess doppelgangers can speak. So, but anyway. Also, just like, how long do you mean to be content is so...
Also, yeah.
When do you want to die?
That, like, I get I ask myself that in the mirror sometimes. Like, when I'm getting real, like, spirally about my life.
Yeah.
But to have another version of me from the shadows come up to me and be like, how long do you wish to be content? I would actually just be like, you know what, you can take it from here. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna leave.
I'm out.
I'm outie.
Later on July 8th, 1882, he was sailing across the Gulf of Spezia in Italy.
Spezia.
I know, it's not fun to say. When a severe storm struck his boat, causing it to sink. Everyone aboard drowned, and their bodies washed ashore later that day.
Even him? He did?
Everyone drowned, everybody's there. It seems that seeing your own doppelganger can, in some cases, mean the end.
Dang, how much longer after that was his death?
So, I think it was like 1880 was when he said that he had that conversation with himself, basically. And then 1882, so like literally 2 years later.
How long do you want to be content? 2 years.
How long do you mean to be content? Because you don't have much longer, was basically what that was saying.
I, on purpose, never watched Us. The Jordan Peele movie that kind of touches on this exact vibe. Because the idea of me seeing myself, terrifying.
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
No.
That's a fear that has been unlocked recently.
How do you think twins feel?
We should ask.
I think if you're a twin and you were sleepwalking and your other twin woke up to you like creepily sleepwalking, yeah, it'd be all bets off.
I feel like twins. I wonder if twins like get used to it, like seeing themselves as. You know?
They wouldn't even know they had. There'd be 4 of them running around. Oh my gosh.
Are you guys ready for one more story? This is a good one. One more story of seeing a doppelganger being a bad woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna be looking for myself in crowds.
Yeah, just know if you see a doppelganger. Could be.
Yeah, you don't want to look for it. That means death.
No, yeah, you don't want to see it. You
It's
don't.
like morbid curiosity. Now I'm gonna be searching for me.
How long do you need to be content? Start asking yourself that.
Gosh.
Anyway, in November of 1860, a man, at the end of a very long, very exhausting day, wandered into his bedroom and sat down on a lounge, settling in for a little rest. Except when he opened his eyes, straight ahead was a dresser with a mirror on top, and the mirror appeared to have been tilted down just enough, so like, you know, you're looking across and there's like the mirror, right here.
Yeah.
Tilted down enough that he could see himself stretched out there on the couch. But when he saw his face, he paused. There was 2 of them. He sat up in horror and he looked in the mirror again, but the duplicate was gone. I'm sure a bit taken aback, he lowered himself down, and once more, there in the mirror, he saw it again. 2 copies of his own face looking back at him. He later told a friend that the faces were slightly different from each other. One of them, he said, seemed normal, what you would expect from seeing your reflection. The other, though, seemed much more pale, more sickly, almost lifeless.
No.
Less than 5 years later, a stranger held a gun to his head and pulled the trigger. The man in the mirror, the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln.
Oh! No freaking way!
So Abraham Lincoln is actually documented of having to have had seen himself before he died. Like seeing a duplicate.
That makes sense. His wife was into witchy stuff.
She had held multiple seances.
Vibes.
Yeah. So it's not uncommon. I know. So that also explains. So again, what's Maria Arana's deal? She's got secrets because Percy played around with the occult. Abraham Lincoln, we all know that.
And let's be real, you ain't oofing someone who's into it if you ain't going to them seances too.
Wait, but did he start the seances before or after he died? Or like before?
But you don't just go from 0 to seance.
What if he saw himself in the mirror and then was like, we gotta do seances?
I think Mary Todd did seances before he died, but then upped it after, obviously.
She went hardcore
because
after.
she had lost family members tragically.
They lost
before.
their son in the Civil War?
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, because it started after they lost their son because she was trying to find him.
And that would be around the time 5 years.
It's all lining up.
I don't like the whole looking in the mirror thing.
The looking in the mirror and then going and be like, I'm imagining it. Because also it's like, it's Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
They got like a candle. They don't got electricity. It's not clear. He's probably like, we bought a bad mirror at the market.
You bought one of those shabby mirrors that shows you 2 of yourself.
I bought a bad mirror and the candlelight's making me see
Wait,
stuff.
is he Kennedy or Lincoln?
He's both. They're connected.
Oh. So he had. Oh, how long was that? You said it was 5 years.
So 5 years later. 5 years after seeing him.
Better than 2.
Better than 2. That's right.
Sorry,
Better than
Shelly.
2. Abraham,
Right. I know. There's a lot of spooky Lincoln things.
Lincoln's a spooky guy.
Lincoln's a spooky bish.
Speaking of bitches, yeah.
Speaking of bishes,
he's
Lincoln,
a spooky bish.
spooky bish.
And also someone who's kind of poetic. I mean, he wrote speeches and stuff. That's poetic.
He did write speeches. I do believe that about him. So there are 3 historically documented accounts of doppelgangers, but is it still happening today? Of course it is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least these stories from the internet say so. So I pulled these from, these,
perfect.
terrifying, true tales that, people, write in or whatever.
Mm.
So someone wrote in, "This has happened many times in my life, but usually years apart. People sometimes see a ghost of me. I don't know what else to call it. I've never seen it. This first happened when I was a kid. My stepdad saw me in the kitchen. I was just standing still. He approached and called at me slightly angrily, as it was late and I should have been in bed. As he got near me, I vanished. He freaked out and told my mom, but when they came to my room, I was fast asleep in my bed. They told me the next day, and he's still shaken up by it."
I'm so sorry. If I was her stepdad, I'd be out.
Also, I just remembered something.
That's terrible.
Maria Arana never saw her doppelganger. The Umana people saw her
Yeah.
doppelganger. Maybe that's why she didn't die. Whereas, Percy
You
and Lincoln saw their
Oh.
own. You have to see your doppelganger. I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah.
That is
No. You said that, but I didn't connect that.
Right.
No, I didn't
But
either.
yeah. So, that's the difference. Maria Arana didn't see her own doppelganger. That's why she got to live.
Okay, so
And she was oofing the King of Spades.
Right.
You know
That
how
is
people
what
will call you
That'll keep you from
and
that.
text you and be like, "Hey, I saw you at the
And you're like,
this in this
"No, I
shop in this
didn't."
restaurant," and you're like, "No, I
No.
wasn't there." I wonder if that.
and they're like, I
That's
could have
the
sworn
same
it was you.
thing.
It could be. Because especially if you're wishing you were there. If you were like, "I really wish I was at the Cheesecake Factory right now," and someone's like, "Oh my gosh, I just saw you at the
Yes.
Cheesecake Factory," you're like, that would probably was.
So the power of phone.
I'm not there, but I wish I was.
I'm not there. But
Tell them I said hi.
Wait, the vanishing is what is killing me.
Right.
And it's cause listen, I'm a full ghosty vibes, ghosts are real. And that's always the aspect of ghosts that freak me out the most, is that it's disappear. And the idea of going, and then it's a live person. So you're like, of course I'd see them. They're alive. And then you walk up and they're just
Yeah, there
Alright.
hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah. One more. This one's also super creepy. One time an old girlfriend entered my room and saw me kneeling down behind the bed, just staring blankly. She started talking to me and I didn't answer. She asked if I was okay, and when I didn't respond, she walked over and around the bed. But I suddenly wasn't kneeling. I was standing straight, sticking out of the floor. And then I disappeared.
No.
She ran out of the room, down the stairs, into the kitchen and into the garden, which is where I actually was, just relaxing in a chair. She was terrified. I calmed her down, but she wouldn't go back into the house by herself for ages, especially not into that room. So she thought she saw her boyfriend apparently kneeling down, but
He was
wasn't
actually
kneeling, he was
halfway
just
in the
sticking
floor.
out of the floor. So
No.
gnarly. But
No.
anyway, Cara, Annie, I hope I didn't scare you too bad.
no.
Just more deep thinking.
No.
Just know that if you ever see your doppelganger, don't look at it.
Don't talk.
Don't see
Don't
it.
talk to me.
Don't be a part of it. But anyway, this is the time where you promote yourselves. So, Cara, what do you want to hawk? Where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me at Cara Tafolla on Instagram or Sunkiss San Diego on Etsy.
Yes!
Oh,
we love it. We love the promotion.
Love. You can find me at Annie Skovmand on Instagram or arches.sd on Instagram for my wedding coordinating business. You can also find both of us at
Yes.
What the
the
Podcast. Listen every week, whatever day it comes out.
YouTube, Spotify.
Whatever happens. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and until we meet again, happy terrors.
Next time on Cat's Got Your Terror.
And this one has some solid credibility to it.
Her friend's house burned down.
They ask to be invited in.
All of the trauma and the horrific things that are happening.
They've been known to appear in the windows of your home, and they inflict intense feelings of boding sense of doom